Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and we are continuing the Killer Instinct crossover with Cyber Force number 2. But if you like the Blood Force channel, if you feel like supporting it, what you can do is you can go over to the Patreon through the link in the description, and that's where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube. That's where all the Blood Force stuff is, all the pages, all the process stuff, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So if you like checking out behind-the-scenes stuff, that's, well, we're dropping a couple of bucks on. But yeah, back to the Killer Instinct crossover, and I mean this pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? This is going to be Warblade hacking at Ripclaw and vice versa. This is going to be Impact versus Maul, Grifter versus Striker. That's pretty much everything you want. You might want it a little bit sooner. I mean, if you're going to be part of a crossover, you probably want to be releasing stuff in the right order. Because Cyber Force number 1 came out in November. And then, well, I guess it's okay. Wildcat, at least for now. Wildcats number 6 came out December. Then Cyber Force number 2 and Wildcats number 7 come out in January. And then Cyber Force number 3 in March. Yeah. So Mark Silvestri is back to the bi-monthly schedule. There's something about a Mark Silvestri yellow cover, though, that I appreciate. Not too many people do the yellow cover, it feels like. I don't know if he chose that at all, to be honest. Or that's the colorist's choice. But I just think it works. Alright. Scott Williams on inks again. Joe Chiodo on colors. Who's doing the letters? Mike Heisler and Chris Eliopoulos. Crazy! And so we are checking in the past of Cyber Force here. So the team at this point is Ripclaw. And let's see. We got Misery. We got Killjoy. And Warblade. And I think these are regular shock troopers. And they are being inserted for some kind of offensive mission. Doesn't really matter that much. This is all good-looking stuff, though. There's a lot of people packed into this panel. I mean, it's not a tiny panel exactly, but it doesn't look cramped. Other than, like, just, you know, the kind of cramped it should look. That bugs me a little. Alright, oh, there we go, with a... This feels a little bit Walt Simonson influenced, actually. The way he's drawing Warblade here, a little bit with how he's doing Killjoy. But yeah, decent example for if you want to draw a double-page splash of a team jumping out of a plane. Now, and this is your classic sort of anti-hero team, where they're constantly fighting with each other. They talk telepathically to each other. Oh, and the path of the word balloons isn't too great. So this is how you're supposed to read this. And then back up to here and around. So yeah. Misery keeps messing around with Ripclaw's head. But I think everybody can hear this, what she's broadcasting, because Killjoy reacts to it. And we get a bunch of Eric Silvestri trying to justify why he's here. Ripclaw's got his hands full. 2 of the most dangerous women in the world are breathing down his neck. At least with Killjoy you can see it coming. Ugh. Alright, so they land. I'm going to assume this is in Gamora. This looks like it could be the Isle of the Dead, perhaps. Seems about right. Yep, Isle of the Dead. There we go. So their objective is to retrieve technology taken from cyber data and neutralize the person responsible and destroy the facility. And this is like 2 years before Wildcats number 6. So that seems to be what Misery was kind of trying to do when they were doing the retinal scan stuff. And they're trying to kind of set up like a love triangle thing where I guess Misery and Warblade used to be a thing. And now Misery has her sights set on Ripclaw. Boring ass costumes, I gotta say. Nice made up obliques here though. That's good stuff. So what they're looking for is a stolen disc that contains the formula for an advanced biosynthetic organism called COS7. And that, of course, is Spartan. In this version of the timeline. And this guy, Richtofen, used to work for Cyberdata. Okay, so we're getting some backstory. Had a run-in with Zadrock. That's the guy who ran the Cyberdata thing in the Cyberforce miniseries. Went off on his own, took the synthetic stuff with him, so we're here to get it back. And so, secret panel into the lab. And Ripclaw senses that there's electronic surveillance. So Ripclaw senses that there's electronic surveillance. And Killjoy says, nah, it's not been taken care of. He's like, no, it hasn't, but okay. And, yep, more of these putties. Again, this does feel like Walt Simonson kind of stuff. Very kind of simplistic shapes with these designs. And this is a bit more abstract than I feel like Silvestri usually goes. This is like classic Silvestri, just, yep, I'm going to draw the muscles gigantic, and then I'm going to shade each one individually. This stuff all looks alright, though. Kind of like the blade, the coloring works well with the blades, at least in this shot. And, I mean, you can see exactly what's going on here with all the shooting. And Killjoy's supposed to be super sped up. That just looks fan-fucking-tastic. And naturally, they mow them all down in no time flat. And we've got Baron von Richthofen here. And he's talking about how great his defenses are, and nothing can penetrate this door, and all of his forces are more than enough to stop the shocks. And obviously that's leading up to the shocks busting into the room. And okay, page here. Doesn't feel like it needed to be a splash, by any means. Like, the top part of a page would have been fine. But, I don't know. I mean, he wants to do this thing here. So I guess, I mean, yeah, sure, why not, I suppose? It just feels unnecessary. It feels gratuitous. So Misery is staying back at the graveyard. And I suppose Warblade's kind of guarding her. Like, they're kind of guarding their ride out. And so Misery tells Warblade that she's communicating telepathically with Killjoy, everything's under control, nothing's wrong with the radio, all this. And then out of the Richthofen guy just kind of pops up through the secret hatchway, so that proving her wrong. And Warblade gets to do his big leapy thing. And for, I don't know, it doesn't feel like much of a reason. Warblade has some history with Richthofen. Richthofen removed a perfectly good eye from a good friend of his. And the friend died shortly thereafter of a massive cerebral hemorrhage, but not before making Warblade promise to go back and even the score. So this is where Richthofen gets his eye patch. Warblade claws his eye out. And in the meantime, the shocks are gunned down by Misery. Warblade's blood is up, so he just runs back and impales her flat out. Right when Ripclaw pops up through the hatch to see what's going on. Because he's following Richthofen at this point. And that's all he sees out of context. So, naturally, Ripclaw thinks that Warblade has snapped, or is a double agent, or something. And Misery's kind of, yeah, she's kind of amping them both up to the point where they're going to kill each other, like she did with Heatwave and Warblade, I think it was, back in Cyberforce number 0. And all of a sudden, Warblade is on the edge of a mountain here, and Ripclaw just kind of impales him, and he falls off, and that's fine. So this is, I mean, he's obviously going to fall off and then stumble across Marlowe, but not before changing his costume. I mean, priorities, right? And so Misery is supposedly dying on the Isle of the Dead there. And there's no real indication. So, you'd think that there was some big romantic past there. I suppose part of it is the Misery telepathy thing where she does the mind control, but it doesn't look like she used it very much right before she died. And that was like the only time that she met Ripclaw by the looks of it. And yeah, now it's all, rest assured, my love. All this stuff. Kind of out of nowhere. And Sylvester's really going to play up the stretchiness angle of Warblade here. I guess to differentiate the two. And some nice kind of action shots here. Yeah, Ripclaw comes back, claws part of his face up a bit. And we're getting to Spawn Batman coming out soon. That was not worth reading. Yeah, stab you in the knee. Just kind of smack you off the cliff. Oh, we're back to the cliff here. And Warblade keeps trying to talk sense into Ripclaw. Yeah, a lot of hacking at each other here. And we're going to draw this all out. We're not getting very much of Cyberforce versus Wildcats at this point, are we? This is what and that is what they advertised. Oh, yeah, so Warblade's, I guess, going to leap in for the killing blow on Ripclaw, and that's when Cyberforce shows up. I guess I kind of, remembered that right when Mark and Eric did. Heatwave's able to shoot him out of the sky. Heatwave should remember Warblade. He was going to kill him. No indication there that he does, though. And Misery's using her telepathy control kind of thing. That seems to be the main sort of bad guys Cyberforce deals with at this point. Anyway, she's using that to kind of nudge them into thinking that the Wildcats are working for Cyberdata, who, of course, are Cyberforce's mortal enemies. It's a pretty cool shot. Just to end on. Just like a standard shot, but like that just looks great. It doesn't look forced at all. You compare that with that one shot in Wildcats number 6, which feels like it's trying so hard to be a cool poster. And doesn't really manage it with anybody. And this thing, which looks very loose, and it's the same 4 guys, and just looks, I don't know, just looks much cooler. Alright, what do we got in these support materials? Wildcats number 7 coming up. That's a pretty good cover. It's one of the better covers. Oh, there's more Killer Instinct trivia in this one. And it's different now. Okay, so what is the contest? Wildstorm Productions and Top Cow will award 2 round-trip coach airline tickets, I like how they specify coach, to San Diego, California from anywhere in the United States, dinner with Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee, and $1,000 spending money. In '93, that's not bad. As the prize in the Killer Instinct contest, in addition, a set of premium gold and silver comic books of the complete Killer Instinct series will be awarded to 5 consolation winners. Do you get the gold and silver books for winning, too? I wonder. So, no purchase necessary. So, just borrow your copy for your friend's copy there. To enter, contestants must answer a total of 16 questions, 4 in each book. Located on the entry forms in each of the 4 Killer Instinct publications. So at least we don't have to cut stuff out of comics anymore. That's nice. So write down all your answers, mail them off to Homage Studios. All entries must be postmarked on or before March 31st, 1994. And then they randomly select a winner out of the people who got all the questions right, I imagine. Yeah. Alright, there's some of the Max. This is some of the stuff I couldn't get behind as much, where he's not trying to make it feel awesome. You know? It's just kind of goofy. Let's see, cards illustrated. This is part of Hero Illustrated by the branding here. So, Wetworks. An incredible collection featuring Will Spartatio artwork in an exclusive 9-card set. A 9-card set? Okay. I mean, they look like colored out the ass there, but like, yeah, they're probably fairly cool looking at least. All right, we're still a ways off from Wetworks #1 coming out though. Oh, leg 2. Of the okay, so this is the Killer Instinct tour, and they're going to, yeah, it looks like different comic shops. Man, you imagine Jim Lee coming to your comic shop back in the day, or Mark Silvestri. And Jim Lee's taking with him Brandon Choi, Brett Booth, Alex Garner, and Sal Regla. Well, you know, that's cool, I suppose. And with Mark Silvestri, you get Scott Williams. Interesting. You'd think he'd be going with Jim. Joe Chiodo, Mike Heisler, Scott Clark, Jeffrey Scott, and JD. I don't know who that is. Yeah, no, you kind of want to go to the Mark Silvestri ones, I feel like. Well, that's your big Jim Lee Mark. Okay, so that's it for Cyberforce #2. Mostly backstory. Right? Yeah. I think it was all pretty much what everybody would have expected. You know, there was a mission, the mission went bad, Misery turned the two against each other, and then, yeah, Ripclaw almost killed Warblade. And now, Warblade almost killed Ripclaw. Oh, crazy how the tables have turned. At least it always looks good. It's too bad that the Silvestri Cyberforce stuff comes out less often than the Jim Lee Wildcat stuff. I'm losing my interest in Jim Lee, I gotta say, at this point. But that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications, go follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go and subscribe on Patreon. That's where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually about a week or so in advance. That's also where all the Blood Force stuff goes, the pages, the process stuff, and any sort of exclusives, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So, well worth checking out. But, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.